too much of an introduction. I'll tell you what, though. I just want to say one thing. When I found out that some of your friends have created profitable businesses, I went on a quest to see if I could identify every single one of those people, because I just get thrilled to pieces when I think of entrepreneurship class or personal finance class being something that we could apply today. That any one of you could start something for yourself today. I just get very thrilled with that, because I think in high school, sometimes we think that real life begins sometimes after college. But it's just kind of cool to think that real life could begin the minute I stop speaking. So this is Lauren.
Hello, my name is Lauren Niesen, and Mr. Webker asked me to come in and just kind of talk about this business that I've started. Basically, I teach piano to kids, kind of like all around in the city, and he asked me to kind of share my story, how it started, how I kind of got into it, and I've been playing piano since I was 6 years old. My parents both play, and they always told me it was so incredibly important to be able to read music, be able to play an instrument, and piano is like a baseline for pretty much any other instrument that you want to play. So they just thought it was really important. So they started me from when I was pretty young, and it was not always easy. I really did not enjoy playing piano from ages 6 to 13. And then but I kept with it because my parents made me stay in the lessons. And then they let me quit, and it's kind of after the lessons that I began to find out how much I loved it, because I started playing music that I wanted to play versus Beethoven and all the other stuff. And so within the past 3 or so years, I'd say I really developed a passion for playing piano, and it's just become really fun. But I wouldn't have been able to play all the stuff I can play today if I didn't take 7 years of lessons. So it's just really cool to be able to sit down at a piano and just kind of impress people, I guess, with being able to play. And so yeah, I really like it. It's also a stress reliever for me. A lot of times I'll come home and just go in the basement, shut the door, and play piano for an hour. So it's nice. When I decided to become a piano teacher, I wanted to be the kind of teacher that I wished I had as a kid, which was obviously keeping with the theory, musicals, technical music terms, and learning how to read music. But also, I try to do fun things with the kids, when they're learning the notes on the piano. I'll put Skittles on the piano, and then if they get the note right, they get to eat them. Or a lot of times I'll have them just play what they think sounds good, and then I can write it in music form so they can read their own music, their own songs that they've written. And then just also playing fun music. A lot of times once they get good enough, I've given a lot of boys that I teach a Star Wars book of easy Star Wars music, and they just get a lot more joy out of it if they're playing stuff that they like to play. And I just my main goal is to make it clear to the kids and to the parents that music is something that can help you in so many other areas of your life. It just keeps a different part of your brain going, and I just to make it clear to them that it's worthwhile to be involved in. So as far as the business goes, I started the summer after my freshman year. It was hard to get a job as a 15-year-old. Not many people are super keen on hiring you. Also, I was very late to the game. I think it was April or May, and I was I should find a summer job. And then everyone else pretty much had that figured out before me. So my mom said, why don't you just do something that, it's your own business. You don't have to work somewhere official. Yeah, you're only 15. And so I just started thinking what are my talents, or what sets me apart from other people that I can charge people money for, basically. And I thought of teaching piano, and professional piano teachers, my brothers, obviously take lessons. They charge anywhere from $20 to $25, on average, $20 to $25 for a half-hour lesson. So that's $40 to $50 an hour. And so I just decided, okay, I'll cut that in half, and I'll charge 10 or 15. It kind of depends. I've taught all sorts of different people, and I've charged different things for different people, because family friend, my mom's don't charge her as much. Or if I have to drive far to their house, then I'll charge more for gas purposes. or like number of kids. Like if I have like a woman or like a mom who's like, oh, can you teach my 3 kids? I'm not gonna like charge her 15 for every single kid. Like I kind of, you know, take the price down. My first students were my neighbors, and just because I just went up to them and I said, hey, you know, I see you have like little kids, would you like lessons? And then she said, sure. And then honestly from there I've been really lucky because I haven't had to do a lot of marketing myself because it's been completely word of mouth. I've had just people text me, mom saying, oh, I heard that, like this mom told me that you're teaching her kids and I'd like lessons, and so when can we start? Or my mom just goes out and, you know, talks, oh, my daughter teaches. And so I've gotten all my students from word of mouth by either my mom or the people I teach. I think what's really like attractive to other like moms about me personally is that I charge like obviously half of what professional teachers charge, and also it's like one of those things where it's like your kid is 5 years old and who knows if he's gonna be good or if he like actually likes it. So why are you like, you don't want to like waste a ton of money on like some person with a music degree when you could have like me teach it with just like 11 years of piano experience. So I feel like that was something that made my business more attractive than like, you know, a piano teacher who has like charges like a ton more but she has like a degree, or I guess. So I've only taught like kids from like baseline to like kind of like level 3-ish is kind of my highest student right now. So I focus a lot on like the kids who are just starting out and just starting to learn. It was hard to stay organized in the beginning because I had like a lot of students kind of all at once, and the most I've ever had is 10 at one time. That was the summer after my sophomore year, and it was just hard because a lot of people like to pay in advance, and so you have to like mark, okay, this person's paid for 4, I should expecting a check from them like the end of the month, or some people like to pay in cash every single time, so that kind of handling the money was a little bit hard, but I've pretty much got it down to a science at this point, so that's good. What I like love about it is just the flexibility because it's like my life and my business, and you know, if I want to go to the football game on Friday night, I can be like, no, we can't have a lesson then. Whereas like opposed to, I also work at Blue Moose, and that's the sort of thing where it's like you are scheduled this time and you can't like avoid that. And so I appreciate the piano teaching thing because I can be like, oh, like, you know, I have plans, what should I do? Like, no, sorry, I can't teach tonight. And then we can just reschedule to like when it works for me. Also, it's just like a half hour, you know, like all the lessons are half hours, so it's usually something that I can just like drive, do, and walk out with $50. If I like need some like quick cash, I can just kind of call up some people, and that's really nice. So plus no taxes, I can just get all the money for myself. That's really nice. And then for college-wise, I'm definitely going to go to college next year. So I haven't honestly thought a lot about what this business is going to look like in the next years. I know that people are always like picking it up. Like right now I'm in season for volleyball, so I can't teach very much. But I know I have 3 kids that are waiting to start with me once the season's ending. And I have some other ones who are like picking up because fall's busy for them too. And so I'm like fairly confident in the fact that I could come back, you know, after like a summer or a school year in college and have some kids who would be willing to pick it back up, or even some new students. So if I wanted to keep it going, I probably could. I haven't honestly thought about it a lot, but yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Lauren will call on you.
Oh, Bryce?
Would you think about maybe wherever you go to college, I don't know if that's going to be in-state, out-of-state, wherever, would you think about maybe like reaching out to clients wherever you are, like in college at?
Like people in that area?
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I guess it still have to be kids because I don't obviously have the talent to teach like people other than that. I mean, maybe. I'd have to see where my schedule's at too. Honestly, it kind of, I've been doing it for 3 years and every season has been different. Like, you know, some springs, like the spring of my sophomore year, I was like free, and so I taught a lot more then. But then last year I decided to do track, so then I couldn't teach as much. And so it's really the kind of thing where I have to like see what I'm doing at the time. And so if that were a thing, like if I had time to do it, I don't see why not. If I could it's definitely easier here because of my mom, and it'd be kind of harder to, I'd have to put more effort into the marketing and like getting myself out there, but if that were something that I could actually think about doing, then probably, yeah.
Nice.
Yes?
Have you ever put anything on Facebook or social media for it, or you just do word of mouth?
I think I asked my mom at one point to put something on Facebook, and I'm not even sure. I think she was like, oh yeah, I'll do it, but I think that she didn't even have a problem with like talking to people, and I had to tell her to slow down at one point, so I'm like, I can't take more than like 10 kids at a time. That was an idea I had, but like I didn't need it for the situation.
Did you ever think about like having someone like younger than you, like the same skill level, that you know could also teach, and like have them like teach all the current students while you go away for college, and then like you come in
And then like pay them
in the summer? Yeah.
I haven't thought about that. It's been so much my own like thing, you know, like because I don't know many people like that who A, can play piano or have played for 11 years, and B, would want to do it. But I mean that's a cool idea. I guess I'd have to like find the right person to do that, but that's cool.
You could eventually have 5, 10 to 20 employees.
Exactly.
Until that business takes off, yeah.
Let's have a few more.
Do you pay for the books you use for the students, or do you have one book that you use for everyone?
The kids buy their own books. We use my mom's Amazon Prime account, which is nice because the brand, there's obviously a million different piano teaching books, and the ones that I like picked out are ones that come like at a discounted price on Amazon, so I can just be like, I'll buy it for you at a much less price if you pay me back. So that's usually how it goes.
I'm kind of like a piano nut, so I'm just
Right.
I'm just kind of curious. What exactly do you teach them as beginners and stuff like that? Like, what would you go into depth with?
Well, really, it's about learning the notes, and like that is like reading music, because you know, like yourself, a lot of people can play piano but can't read music, and I think, you know, if they're gonna be taking lessons from me, then being able to read the music is a really big part of it, because whether like it's starting with piano, but if it's kind of just a baseline for any other instrument, and being able to read music can get you like makes everything so much easier in the music world. So it's like about learning, just like putting together which key is what letter, you know, like A, B, C, D, and then kind of going from there. And you just build like, you do all the right hand first, like C, D, E, F, G, and then the same thing with the other hand. And then you just keep building more and more notes. You like start in the middle of the piano and then kind of gradually go out, if that's what you're asking.
So, on average, how long does it usually take, like a beginner student, to learn all like the notes and how to read it and everything?
Probably, I'd say like at least 6 months.
6 months. Wow, that's a lot of lessons.
Well, it's like, yeah, it's well, if you're doing like one lesson a week for a half hour, which is what normally the kids do, it's just because they'll stick so much with like you'll take like probably like I take like 3 weeks and like 3 different songs with like just like 5 fingers, and then you'll like move on to like a next little chunk, and then you'll play all those, and that takes like another like 2 or so weeks, and then you keep like going after it. And then I mean, a lot of the kids too are like in and out with the practice, you know, like, oh, we need to skip this week, so that's why it's kind of taken a little bit longer. But there's also just so many other like musical theory things to teach, like dynamics and like speed-wise tempo stuff, that it just kind of, I follow the book like that I have with them, which has like been nice for me. I haven't had to like make my own curriculum or anything. It's like I can just kind of look ahead like before I teach them and be like, okay, that's what they're learning today, and then.
So you basically follow the same steps with every single student. So like you kind of have a plan that you do it, that you use every time.
It's not like me just kind of like
free ball.
Yeah, it's definitely like planned, and it's the same way. Like, you know, every kid learns middle C first, and then every kid learns like the 5-finger scale next, and all that type of thing. So.
Nice.
Yep.
You said you have like about 10 kids at the same time. So like that seems like a lot to do. Just like to keep track of, because you have like one 30-minute lesson like each week for like 10 kids. And, like, how do you keep track of that? Like on your phone? Or,
I had a binder with like a tab for every kid, and
what
yeah,
I
that was
meant.
like the one summer, and so it was like the kind of thing where I just had like a calendar for like all my lessons. And what was good is like a lot of them were siblings of each other, so it was the type of thing where I had like one mom paying for me for like 2 kids, and I would like go to one house. If it was 10 separate houses, that might be a little bit harder, but it kind of went that way. But I just had to keep track of like I said, with the paying in advance thing, that was like really rough to keep track of, because it's like, okay, they've paid for the next 4 and all this stuff, but I mean, it was just kind of about staying organized and writing it all down and not like keeping it in my head, like actually writing it down.
There's an old cliche that if you want to get something done, give it to a busy person because they're efficient. Do you feel that teaching piano, having your own business, has that helped you with school and sports?
I think kind of what I was just saying to him, like learning how to like organize things
and spill it over.
Yeah, I'm definitely more. I know that I started writing way more after I started teaching piano. Like as far as like homework assignments or things to remember, I didn't even have a planner, I don't think, before like freshman year, and now I open it like every 2 seconds now, and so I definitely keep things more like written down and like time wise. So I think it's just helped me become a more organized person.
In life.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have time for 2 more questions, or we do? Do you guys have more? Because I have. And you probably love the Blue Moose, so like I'm not trying to like say bad things about the Blue Moose, like it should go extinct or something. But could you do like maybe like some of the pros and cons of working for yourself versus working for somebody else? Or pros and cons of each, maybe.
Yeah. Pros of working for myself would definitely be flexible schedule, like deciding when I can, when I can and can't work, and being able to text somebody and be like, no, like I'm not coming tonight for like this reason or whatever. And obviously like the no tax on my paycheck is nice. Being able to like walk away, like because I'm in season, I'm only teaching 1 kid right now, just because his mom was very adamant about him sticking with it, and she likes to pay me in cash every time, so that's nice for me because then I can just like have that as a guarantee every week, especially because I'm not working outside of that right now because I don't have time. And then probably like the short amounts of time and like larger. I mean, I'm making $30 an hour, like for not that much work, and so that's really nice.
And that can go up as a piano teacher.
Right. I mean, like I said, I'm charging half of what professional piano teachers charge, and now that I can say I have like 3 years of experience as a piano teacher, and I've taught like 16 kids, like that's, I mean, I probably could like up the price, but I just haven't to this point because it's been going so well. But I think like kind of the opposite of those are like the cons of working at Blue Moose is like I don't make as much, and it's with taxes, and it's longer shifts. I was not like, coming from like a job where I work half-hour segments to like a thing where I have to work like a 5 or 6 hour shift is like very different for me, and so that's not as fun. But then I'd say pros of working at like a place like Blue Moose is that it's a lot less stress on me. Like I just go in there, do my job, and get paid for it, and I'm not the one running the whole operation. I have like less people kind of to like think about their emotions and like, how they're gonna react to me and stuff like that, because I have, 10 moms that are like, when are you coming? And Blue Moose is just like, I can just come in, do my job, and get out. And then I also just like, just the environment, like working with people my own age, like it's fun. And I don't drive very far to Blue Moose, but I can drive like up to like 20, 25 minutes to like kids that I teach. Sometimes the drive is longer than the actual lesson, which is, sometimes annoying. But
does anybody else have a question in there? I have one more. You've mentioned it at the beginning, but if there's more details, what makes you different than the other piano teachers? You mentioned 1 or 2 things, like why would somebody hire you instead of the other girl?
Well, I think that it's just kind of, what I said, that a lot of, if you're wondering if your kid's going to be good at piano, I wonder if I should teach him. Like, a lot of parents don't see the value in dropping like $40 an hour for like someone to sit next to their kid and be like, this is C, you know. And so like it was when they have like this crazy degree or like they've been teaching for however long, and then their kid might not like it at all. So I think that, you know, when they see, oh well, this girl, you know, she may not have her music degree, but she has been playing for 11 years and she knows what she's doing. She can teach my kid like levels, you know, level 1 piano for half the price, I think is good, especially, you know, when they're not sure if they're gonna like it. And then just kind of that, like I said, like I try to make it fun. You know, I try to like have candy or like them writing their own music or playing fun songs. Just something that like I try to do myself. So hopefully people like that too. So. Thank you.
1 2 3 days, the third person.